So thinking about, and as Steve said, my background is in career services. That's where I spent the most amount of time in law schools. And so I really encourage students to think about what they might want to do after graduation. Not so much what type of law, but although, there is a lot of talk about like which types of law are going to thrive after this, pandemic, recession, whatever happened, certain types of law, bankruptcy lawyers are going to be in high demand. Certain types of law tend to expand and others contract, given the economy. So I think thinking about whether you want to go into the private sector or the public sector. If you know you're going into the public sector after graduation, public sector lawyers don't make a whole lot of money. So you might want to think about looking at schools where you might have a better shot at getting merit aid and are not going to graduate with as much debt. You also might want to look at the loan repayment assistance programs, LRAPs, that some of the typically the more selective schools offer, where, there's basically loan forgiveness if you go into certain professions. They all have different kinds of rules, but that's something that you can look at. If you know you definitely want to go to a big law firm after graduation, well, then go to the best law school you can get into. Firms tend to be all about prestige of the law schools, and you can look and see, you can contact the career services at the different law schools and see which law firms recruit on their campus. Doesn't mean you can't get a job at a law firm if they don't recruit on that campus, but it certainly signals that that law firm is invested in hiring from that law school if they physically, or this year virtually, I guess, come to campus to recruit. You can get all kinds of employment data from career services offices, not only who recruits on campus, but where students are going for summer internships, where students are going after graduation. There's all kinds of data that they should be able to provide to you. They're required to collect it. I used to have to help collect it. That kind of was really not fun to track down people and ask them how much money they were making. It was kind of awkward, but it's helpful for you as an applicant to see where students are going. The other thing is geography. I think that a lot of the legal job market and any job market really relies on networking. And so where the alums from the particular law school are practicing is going to have a big impact. And so this is something, again, you can find out from the career services. You can also play around on LinkedIn and just do a search for, if you are interested in going to law school at Georgetown, but know that you want to end up in San Francisco ultimately, well, you can play with the filters on LinkedIn and look up Georgetown law alumni in the Bay Area and see what they're doing and how many of them are there, and get a sense. And so, which goes to my next point, is that if you go to a T14 school or, a handful of others that have national reputations, then fine, it doesn't matter. If you want to practice in San Francisco and go to Georgetown, great, you'll be fine. However, if you want to practice in DC, you are arguably better off going to a lower ranked school, like, let's say, American or Catholic or Howard, than possibly a slightly higher ranked school that is in another part of the country. Because Catholic, I don't even know what they're ranked, but I worked there briefly. Like, they have a very strong alumni network in DC. So if you're at the top of your class and you want to work in DC, you're going to be in decent shape. Whereas if you are at an equivalently ranked school in another city, it's going to be more difficult to break into the DC market. So that's just something you want to consider if you're not looking at the top of the top, where you're basically going to be fine anywhere.
Thanks for tuning into the show. Please subscribe if you haven't done so already to be notified of new episodes as I release them. And feel free to reach out if you need anything at all as you move forward with your prep. I'm happy to help however I can. In the meantime, I'll wish you all the best and take care.